Xbox finally nailed it. Is the Series S unacceptable? Can Bethesda make good on this promise? Is the wait over for this long-awaited Xbox feature? Let's discuss. What's up guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to all things Xbox. If you've been following me for a while, you know how I do things at this point. These are the types of videos that got the channel started, that got us on the map. I gather stories from around the video game industry that have to deal with Xbox in some way and share them with you to make sure that you are Xbox ready. I also have links below this video if you're looking to buy any new Xbox stuff, and I'm also trying to post more on Instagram as well, so I would appreciate a follow there. But enough about that stuff, guys. Let's get right into it, because it's been a great couple of weeks for Xbox, thanks in no small part to Starfield. It looks like Starfield is shaping up to be everything that Xbox hoped it would be for them, but even when things are going well for Xbox, y'all know that there are some haters out there. Y'all know that there are some people out there who are just trying to bring Xbox down. And one of the more negative aspects of Xbox that people are seeming to key into, bring attention to, is this whole discourse surrounding the Xbox Series S. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth on what the Series S can and cannot do. Is it cool? Is it holding Xbox back? I've certainly thrown my 2 cents into the ring on this subject. Some of you agree with me, some of you do not. That is fine. Overall, I love the Series S, man. I own one for myself. I bought not one, but 2 Xboxes this generation. I was literally playing on this thing like 30 minutes before this video started. I like the Series S, especially at its price point. I bought this thing for $240 when it was still on sale for the holidays, and it runs games pretty freaking well, especially when you consider it was $240. If you tried to build a PC at that same price point that can run games like Cyberpunk, Chivalry 2, Halo, that's just not happening. $240, that's just not happening. And like it or not, the Series S is doing for Xbox exactly what they intended to do with it. They wanted to reach a market of gamers that they knew was out there that didn't care about playing at max settings, didn't care about, super high performance or buttery smooth frame rates. And in fact, the Series S has done so well that they're doubling down on it with the carbon black full terabyte Series S. And from the people that have got their hands on it already, they seem to really like it. I mean, there's not really too much of a difference between a white Series S and a black Series S outside of the storage. But like it or not, this thing is here to stay, guys. Apparently half of the series consoles that are out there are Xbox Series S's. So yeah, this thing is not going away no matter how many people on Twitter say, oh, we should drop the Series S, we should leave it behind. Phil Spencer has already come out and said, no guys, we are dedicated to releasing games on both Xboxes, both platforms. But still, the Series S remains quite controversial. But I've learned that the Series S and the discourse around it, it's much more complicated than just Series S bad, Series S good. There are a lot more factors to consider when talking about the Series S and its place in today's industry. And for everyone that comes out and says that, the Series S can't do this, it can't do that, then there's a game like Starfield that comes along and actually performs pretty decently, not perfect, but decently on the Series S. The leadership at Turn 10, the studio behind Forza Motorsport, they've gone on to say, yeah, our game is looking and running great on the Series S. But for every one of those guys who are like, we like the Series S, yes, it's kind of a challenge developing for multiple platforms, but we were able to get our game looking great and running great on the S, there's always some other studios that are like, nope, the Series S is trash. This video is brought to you by World of Warships Legends. I'm teaming up once again with World of Warships Legends, and this time I have an actual captain's hat. God, no, this is a pirate's hat. This is the wrong time period. Anyway, World of Warships Legends is a free-to-play multiplayer console game that puts you in the middle of some truly epic naval battles. Take command of dozens of different ships, each one hailing from one of 11 nations and each with their own unique combat abilities, be it a cruiser, destroyer, battleship, or aircraft carrier. With so many different classes and customizations, you can keep experimenting until you find the ship that's right for you. I'm a big fan of the 9v9 PvP mode. Yes, of course, you gotta have a quick trigger finger, but you also have to strategize with your teammate depending on your team composition and what you find out about the enemy team in your scouting. They also have a 3v3v3v3 game mode, and they're constantly adding content to keep the game fresh, like this autumn update where they teamed up with Megadeth. If you've never played World of Warships Legends or have taken a break and want to jump back in, Download the game and use the code 2023 Xbox Ready to check out the autumn update for yourself. You have until September 30th to use my code and get 1 day of premium account benefits, 1 fall big crate, 5 Type 4 camouflages, 5 common credit boosters, and 5 common battle boosters. Or you can use the link down below, and it's going to be in my description as well. Thanks again to World of Warships Legends for sponsoring this video. And this week, those people are the team behind the upcoming FPS horror game, Quantum Error. In a recent interview, the studio head and co-founder of the team behind Quantum Error said that the Series S version of their game is unacceptable and they could never release it in the state that it's in now. He had a lot of other choice words about the Series S version of their game, and on Twitter, they're kind of backing that up from their own account. They're basically saying, yeah, it runs great on the PS5, it runs great on the Xbox Series X, but the Series S version, it looks terrible, it looks muddy, it only runs at 30 FPS, which, in our opinion, is unacceptable for our game. Now, as a reminder, this is not the first time that Quantum Error has spoken ill of the Series S, and on their Twitter account, they maintain, we never talk bad about the Series S, we're just telling the truth, and everyone's like, yeah, they're just telling the truth, whether you like to hear it or not. But no matter what, this just seems like a weird way to handle this situation. If you're a studio, if you're the PR behind this game, we just don't see that from anyone else. Like, other studios will come out and be like, yeah, we're targeting 4K 60 FPS on our game on the Series X, and if it's not running great on the S, usually they just don't say anything. They just say, like, we don't have enough information to give you at this time about the Series S version of our game. Like, I'm really struggling to remember when the last time a studio came out and was like, our game runs great on PlayStation 5, on the Xbox Series X, but it runs like trash on the Steam Deck, and it also runs like trash on the Switch, for however many games that come out across all platforms. I know they're few and far between, but it just seems weird that, like, as an unaffiliated studio, that they would speak poorly about a platform holder's product. No matter how you feel about that product, it seems like bad business. And unfortunately, it's just adding fuels to the console war between, oh, Xbox is trash, the Series S is holding back gaming, and all this other stuff. Like, even if we go back to the Baldur's Gate 3 situation with Larian Studios, they were like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with our game on the Series S, like, it runs well, visually, it looks fine, but we just can't get split screen working on it. They didn't say anything about, like, oh, our game is just like, it looks terrible, it runs terrible on the Series S, that's why we can't release it, that's why we don't have a release date. So yeah, the whole handling of this situation from the team behind Quantum Error, I have some questions about it, but then again, I don't work in game development. But it's not all doom and gloom for Xbox, believe it or not. There's still plenty of people who rock with the Series S, including me. And no matter what people say about the Series S, this is what it can do, this is what it can't do, that's not stopping Xbox from having a record week. And of course, a large part of their success right now is due to people being really into Starfield. Over the past week, people have been jumping into early access for this game, and over on Steam, apparently the peak concurrent players for Starfield peaked at like well over 200,000 players. And keep in mind, it's early access, and if you're on Steam, you can't get it through Game Pass, so you have to pay $100 if you want to get early access on Steam. And Starfield's success goes beyond Steam, of course. According to Pure Xbox, the premium digital upgrade, which is the thing that you need to buy if you wanted to download the base game through Game Pass and still have early access, it's the #1 selling thing on Xbox in both the United States and the United Kingdom. And over in the UK, apparently the $100 premium edition of Starfield is #2, while that same version is #3 over here in the US. And if you're Xbox, this must be just extremely gratifying. You feel validated, you feel vindicated, because at least in this moment of time, it is proving that their system, this whole Game Pass hybrid day one drop and traditional game sales, it can still work for them, because you have hundreds of thousands of people across the world willing to pay either for the digital upgrade or the straight premium edition, $100 or $35, even though they know damn well that this game is coming out on Game Pass, both the console and the PC version. They're proving right now that with the right game, even if they release it on Game Pass, it can still make money in the traditional sense from like just straight up digital sale. And I know there were a lot of questions surrounding that. Oh, why should I buy this game? Why should I pay for it if I know it's coming to Game Pass? How's Xbox gonna make money? Well, they're showing us right now. And the excitement surrounding Starfield isn't just translating into digital sales. It's giving Xbox a major boost to their hardware sales as well. According to this guy Peter Ovo on Twitter, Xbox console saw a 1000% increase in sales because of Starfield. 1000%, 1000%, man. That is crazy. And apparently it's gone as far as up to like 1052% or something crazy like that. The Xbox Series X is sitting at like 32 in terms of its sales rank at the time when Peter Ovo took the screenshot, and previously it had been 370. It's a massive leap, just like atmospheric leap. Apparently, as it turns out, Starfield can be a system seller for Xbox. And again, if you're Xbox, I'm sure you're feeling extremely vindicated right now, extremely validated, because that was the intention right behind this whole Bethesda acquisition. Buy Bethesda, buy all the studios below them, make their titles exclusive to Xbox so people buy Xboxes, get into the Xbox ecosystem in some way. And up until this point, we haven't really been seeing that with other Bethesda games that have been coming to Xbox. Sure, Hi-Fi Rush was great, Tango Gameworks is awesome, but it wasn't increasing sales on Xbox consoles on Amazon by over 1000%. Xbox leadership seemed to be a little wishy-washy about the power of exclusives, at least like on the surface. Phil Spencer at one point was like, yeah, I don't know, like if, you know, one game or a couple games are enough for people to go out and buy Xboxes because, you know, people's digital libraries are wrapped up in these other platforms like Nintendo and PlayStation. But fans and critics alike have been calling on Xbox, hey, just make the games, man, and people will show up. People will buy your consoles and people will be interested in your brand again. And it looks like Starfield is doing just that, at least for now. Now the challenge for Xbox is how can they keep doing that? Because yes, they have a lot of interesting projects in the tank, but not all of them are like Starfield. Not all of them are like, oh, 25 years in the making, oh, the first new universe from Bethesda and forever. So the challenge is, how do you keep putting out games that will continue to sell consoles and continue to drive interest in Xbox? Honestly, if they were to put out like one Starfield game a year, like Starfield level, I mean, and then support it with like some really interesting, innovative titles, maybe some AA games, maybe, you know, whatever. If they do a AAA game every quarter, that could work out as well. But hopefully they can keep it up because yes, they are kind of in the midst of a comeback right now thanks to Starfield. They're getting a little bit more market share back. They're getting more Xbox consoles out into the wild. The question is, can they keep this up? Can they keep a steady stream of quality content to keep people interested in, to keep people buying Xboxes, and how can they carry that momentum into the next generation? The one thing that they cannot do, of course, is release another game that was in the same state as Redfall when that launched. But as catastrophic as Redfall's launch was, as much as people hated on that game, Bethesda seems to be optimistic about the future of Redfall. Pete Hines recently did an interview with GameIndustry.biz in which he said, yeah, we're basically treating Redfall like we did Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. He even went so far as to assure people that there is going to be a 60 FPS patch coming to the game. Now, there's a couple of things to unpack here. First of all, I think I speak for everyone when I say we are tired of buggy, unfinished games coming out. We're tired of pre-ordering these things, getting all excited about these things, and then when we play the actual game, it's not what was promised. This has been something that's been happening for years at this point. I remember when Assassin's Creed Unity came out, I was so excited, and it was really buggy, it was really messy at launch, which is a damn shame because there was a lot of cool things about that game, and because of the way it launched, it didn't get the momentum that I feel like it deserved. But it seems like gamers, video game fans, reached their breaking point with Cyberpunk 2077 when that game launched. But even for all the crazy stuff that surrounded Cyberpunk's launch, including like blocking review copies, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, that is another example of a game that launched pretty crazy, pretty controversially, but has gone on to be a game that people really enjoy, to the point where they're dropping Phantom Liberty, an expansion for this game, in a couple of weeks, and people are so excited about it. People like Cyberpunk, they're excited for the expansion, and it's become a cultural force kind of, because the anime debuted on Netflix and that was a banger. So yes, while we're all sick of these games coming out, they're buggy, they're unfinished, if you're Bethesda, what exactly can you do except treat it like Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online? It's either continue working on the game or completely abandon it, which would look even worse. And guys, I was there when Elder Scrolls Online launched all of those years ago, 10 years ago at this point. I was part of the last beta testing waves, and when the game launched, people freaking hated this game, man. There was a lot of bugs, there was broken quests, people were expecting Skyrim Online and got an MMO instead. People were not happy about Elder Scrolls Online, but it's endured in this crazy twist of events. They kept adding to this game, and it has a dedicated, loyal following to this day. I can't speak so much on Fallout 76, but that seems to be a similar case, and that also happened with Sea of Thieves as well. I don't know how they can really turn around Redfall and generate interest back into it again. A 60 FPS patch would be a nice start, and Pete Hines also mentions that people are going to stay interested in Redfall because of Game Pass. Like 10 years from now, there's a very strong possibility that people are still going to be checking out Redfall on Game Pass. Honestly, I'm rooting for them. Arcane Austin's got a lot of hate. People love to hate on Redfall, and it would be pretty cool to see them turn it around. Last but not least, I have another first-party update for you guys. Apparently, the Series X and S versions have been rated for Minecraft. Now, up until this point, obviously, you can't play Minecraft on your Series S or your Series X, but the game is the Xbox One version of the game, not like a next-gen, or current-gen, I should say, version of Minecraft. Now, I know what y'all are thinking, because my mind went there as well when I first heard this news. Does this mean that ray tracing is finally coming to Minecraft on Xbox consoles? Ray tracing on this game was a feature that they showed off when they were like first showing off the power of the Xbox Series X. I talked to Austin Evans about it because he was one of the first people to go hands-on with the Series X, and that's one of the things that they showed him. They were like, yo, this is what it looks like when we turn ray tracing on in Minecraft. So ever since then, apparently it's a feature that everyone always asks Austin about, and he's like, I don't really know, I don't know if it's ever coming. But for the optimists out there, the fact that Minecraft could be coming out with a Series X and S version could signal that maybe ray tracing is coming, at least for the Series X. And for fans of Minecraft, that I'm sure is pretty exciting. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really play Minecraft like that, I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is, it's time to take this franchise into the current generation. We can't be playing Xbox One versions anymore on our Xbox consoles for the major first-party games, Minecraft, Halo, all the Bethesda games. They gotta have like a Series X and S version. They just have to. And if not, they gotta have some sort of upgrade. I'm not saying the Xbox One versions are terrible, but if you're a Series X owner, you want to be taking advantage of that hardware. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox news I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video.